Ado, let's go ahead and get the show started and say good morning and welcome to our 12th masterclass. My name is Dan McCormick. I never want to assume that I've met everybody, so if anybody gets a chance to see our masterclass and we have not met, it has been an incredible 40-plus year journey for me on this incredible path of personal development. As a young man with no self-esteem, no self-worth, certainly didn't have any net worth, had no idea really how to read, how to study, how to learn. What I only was familiar with was really what happened to me on the tennis court, building tennis courts, stringing tennis racket, competing in tennis tournaments. That was really my thing. And then one day I learned how to read the sports page. And once my mom taught me how to read the sports page, I knew there was something there for me, but it was still an awful lot of pain, an awful lot of hurt, awful lot of difficulty because I was so far behind in life when it came to reading and writing and speaking and literally not really even knowing how to communicate with other people. I didn't know how to affirm another person. I didn't know how to love other people because I didn't really know how to love me. And so with that being said, I was grateful for the first book ever put in my hands called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. I have the Greatest Secret version. You can see all my books right behind me, or several of them, all of the entire Og Mandino collection right there. And all of the Stephen Covey collection up there, and many other great books we'll be mentioning throughout the show. But I learned as a young man that when someone told me that readers are leaders, and when that happened, I realized that I needed to become a reader. And I started reading. While I didn't really get a lot out of it at time, I began the process of reading. And what's really interesting is here I sit 40 years later, and I feel like I'm a little bit on the journey that our friend Ben Franklin was on. And when Ben Franklin had his 13 virtues, and he made the commitment that he would take each one of those virtues, and he would go through one a week for 13 times and rotate throughout the year several times, 4 times, then he would become a master at those, or at least be aspiring to master those. And he did that for the last 64 years of his life. So where are we right now as we welcome you into the 12th masterclass? The title, let's go ahead and go to the first slide, Liz, if we don't mind, because this is really the 12th masterclass. When we launched the book just 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago, we were in the process of doing the masterclasses to get people warmed up to the idea of really how quickly life can change. And I know that this word grateful is something that's very, very powerful, people. There's books written about it. There's journals that are done. There's gratitude journals. There's all these things. And I'm going to bring my guest on here in just a few minutes, but I want to just say, when I was at his ranch just 2 weeks ago this weekend, at 6:41 in the morning, we were instructed to be up and writing gratitude. 10 things we were grateful for. And so we're going to go through this with the 7 levels of affirmations that we talk about on page 200 in my book. And so if anybody wants to write down in your own journal right now, or you can write it in chat, something you're grateful for, and then I'm going to take you through the process of how you really go through those 7 levels and really appreciate the word gratitude. And I know that it's a constant thought process to be looking for and searching for. If you started your day with our 18-minute affirmation video today, there's a phrase in there that we'll kick it off with, as Jeremy, my son-in-law, says, he's grateful for his health, his faith, and his family. Beautiful thing. Gratitude attracts miracles. And I know Trish has probably listened to that 18-minute affirmation video up here in my right-hand corner more times than just about anybody that's on the planet. Gratitude attracts miracles is a beautiful thing. I am grateful for Chad. Oh, Scott Quinney, that's beautiful. And we got a couple of Chads here today. So Chad Hymas will be on with us in just a few minutes, one of the 10 most inspirational people in the world. Now, just think about that. I am grateful for my friend Chad reaching out last year and asking me to come on his Achievers Roundtable Zoom, his monthly Zoom class. And then I am grateful for his friendship. I am grateful for his kindness. I am grateful for his smile. I am grateful for his love. I am grateful. But I'm going to take you through the 7 levels. So first, we go through number 1, and that is we think it, right? So when you go through, if you're on page 200 of the book, if you have it, you'll see the 7 levels, or what I call the sensory stacking. So first, you have to think about gratitude. And then you say out loud, perhaps, what you're grateful for. And then I love the lesson from Price Pritchett, who wrote U Squared, one of the greatest books ever written. Bob Proctor thought it was one of the most classic, was 35, 50 pages, something super small. And he says, you want to be able to not only think it, say it, but then write it. As we're seeing people right here say, I'm grateful for my family, my friends. BJ, it's so great to have you here. And then you guys, I have my coin with me. And the coin is the reminder to feel. What do you feel about gratitude? Who you're grateful for, the things that you're thinking, saying, writing. Then Price Pritchett said, even run your hands over those words on your screen. Feel it. Really start stacking these senses, if you will. And then, is it possible that you can taste gratitude? Maybe you're making this most delicious, fresh green smoothie, as Drew was mentioning in the chat earlier today. And you could smell the beautiful flavors of mint leaves, perhaps, or any of those things. But can you smell gratitude? Grateful for the meal. Can you taste it? My daughter said, Crystal Beezer, in the book, when she was at her lowest point in her life. Crystal, could you taste healing? The book of Psalms says, oh, taste. And she said, Dad, I could taste the celery juice that I made first thing every morning. And then, can you taste gratitude? You have to think about that, ponder that. And then the seventh level of affirmations is to share. And today we get a chance to share our gratitude in our writings, in our words, in our feelings, our taste, our smell, etc. I am so grateful that you all would join and participate. I see some of you writing in your journals, some of you writing in the comments here. Love Roz Hobbs, who's in the book after she went through her brain tumor, talking about being grateful for her children, Audra's children. Roz is grateful for another day, and that's a beautiful thing. And Julie's talking about being grateful, and now they're coming so fast I can't say I'm grateful for my health. A lot of people, that's a beautiful thing to be grateful for. I love what you just said right there, Matthias, because we'll get to that again later, that the feeling is the secret, right? We really are fueled by the feeling. Words alone won't do it. We've got to stack all these senses to put everything in the best, most positive light we possibly can. And so I'm grateful for the next slide, because over the last month, we have invested and invested and invested in our business. And if we want to just go to that next slide here real quick, there we go. For our new website, like something simple, but it takes weeks and months and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, perhaps. We're going to be talking about later at the end of the show on the last slide, a newsletter launch we're coming out with. Details here are going to be so powerful. It was so exciting to see this picture on the right here, to be at Chad's ranch at his Achievers Roundtable, and to be able to do, I think, 3 hours or so of affirmation work, and to be able to have the group here. Some of them are pictured while we were playing the affirmation alphabet game. And several of you on the broadcast here today have played the alphabet affirmation game with me. It's very powerful. It's thought-provoking. It's something you can feel. It prompts all kinds of emotions. And over the last month for us here at the Awakening Who I Am, Affirm I Am, I was fortunate to be on Hal Elrod's podcast, and to be able to go back and re-listen to that again last night, and to hear Hal, somebody who teaches the world affirmations and speaks all over the world and charges, unbelievable fees, and sold like 3, 4, 5 million books. And he was sitting there with me on the podcast talking about how he took the time to co-create with me. And he found that he could learn even more about affirmations. And so that was awesome to be with a multi-billion-dollar CEO, the former president of the World Direct Selling Association, Ryan Napierski, and be on his podcast. So all kinds of great things and all kinds of podcasts in between, and opportunities to speak about affirmations. We want to be able to, yes, there we go, Carol Ann Davis, the alphabet affirmation game. It's very powerful, very real, and it's an awesome thing to do. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide if we can, because there's a quote that struck me yesterday. And I just think about how many books you've bought in your life, how many coaches maybe you've listened to, maybe positive things that you see on your social feeds. But Dan Coe wrote an incredible book, and it is so singular focused. It's all about focus. And I don't know Dan, but I know he doesn't smile very much. And so I can't watch a lot of his videos because he never smiles on YouTube. But every book, every video or conversation you consume changes your mental DNA. Remember the Bruce Lee quote? We've talked about it for the last several months, and that is, don't even joke about the words that go into your body, right? Because your body doesn't know the difference. So your mental DNA, which goes on to influence the decisions you make of how good or how bad your life is. And then you become what you consume. That's your identity, right? We know that Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about that in Be Your Future Self. He talks about that in 10X. Your identity. You become what you consume. Your identity is what you give most of your time and energy to. But most don't care because it takes years for the damage to really show. And so for me to get off of my own plateau, as we jump to the next slide, to get off of my own plateau, I took the leap because Miracle Morning stepped in for me, because Hal became a friend. And here we sit today. And I just know that as we're writing our next book right now, if you have any valuable feedback, we're going to give you the opportunity to scan the QR code right here. We want to hear your story. So many share what affirmations have done for your life, but we want to hear more details. If you want to scan the code, who knows, you could be one of the stories in the next book that we write and how all this works for you. And we really would appreciate it. I know it's time and energy, but I think as you write it, you'll feel like you learn it. Covey said, not only do you want to consume something, but within the next 48 hours, you want to teach what you just learned. So thank you for doing that. If it serves you, it'll certainly serve us to hear your feedback. We love you and are grateful for that. Let's go to the next slide, Liz. Gratitude attracts miracles. Thank you for all of these comments about gratitude. It is just so rich. I always want to remind people on that 18-minute affirmation video, gratitude attracts miracles. Every day I hear it, I have to pause and try to listen to it just a little bit differently. What I'm grateful for, who I'm grateful for, all of the beautiful things that we've talked about. Gratitude. What are you grateful for today? Continue to put it in chat as we get going. And let me introduce my friend. Let's go to the next slide. Chad Hymas, an internationally acclaimed speaker, best-selling author, passionate advocate for safety awareness, personal empowerment, one of the 10 most inspirational people in the world, according to Wall Street Journal. And I got to tell you, he has a vision for helping people. And I just could not be more grateful for his friendship and kindness. And so let's see if we can't bring Chad on here. We can take the slides down and put him up center screen if we can. Liz, Chad Hymas, good morning and welcome, my friend. You're right off another flight, another speech. You travel 200 plus days a year. You have this insatiable energy to get out there and touch the lives of the world. And I know that you expect miracles every day because your travel schedules are different and the way you get around is different, but just great to be with you, my friend. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you here 2 weeks in a row.
That's right. You got the Achievers Roundtable up and you had an incredible gathering. You do amazing things for entrepreneurs, business owners, people that are, a desire to be writers and speakers, and you're a world famous speaker and all that. But, I know that when I first met you all those years ago, I did not have a copy of your book at that time, but I was rereading the book just this last week since I was in the room. How many suites do you have on the 28,000 acre ranch that you have built?
20. How many bedrooms? How many suites?
Yeah.
22.
22 bedrooms, and you have the opportunity to bring in these groups, and you bring in company owners, and companies bring in their employees and their staff, and you have outdoor activities with the turkeys and the hunting and all the things you do outdoors. But maybe just a little bit about your story and what triggered this, because It's always interesting to me to hear from you.
Thanks so much for having me this morning. I want you all to know that I'm grateful. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffed up. I think it's the plane got in a little bit late from Boston last night, about 4.5 hours ago, and so I'm a little bit. But it's not a bad thing. I will get my rest for sure. And this is not the time for rest. We will find that. I just wanted to recap a couple of things that Dan said that triggered some thoughts in my mind that I thought might benefit um, all of us together. So I read that on that first slide, Liz, where it talked about change in the bottom left-hand corner. And the thought occurred to me that we don't want to wait for things to change in our life before we become grateful for what we had.
Mm-hmm.
That's called reactive gratitude, not proactive gratitude. What Dan is talking about, and what he's talking about, the scribes and the scrolls and Og Mandino and all that he taught, was the power of being a proactive, intentional person versus a reactive person. I know that you'll all you'll be grateful once you've lost something. In fact, Dan took it a step further. He asked us if we could, do you remember he said, can you taste gratitude? Can you smell it? And some of us probably were a little bit baffled or maybe even confused. Can you taste gratitude? I promise you can taste gratitude if you got COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can smell gratitude if you got COVID and you lost your smell. But that's losing something and then becoming grateful now. And sometimes, I don't know if it's tragic, that might be too strong of a word, but it's in that area of tragedy that when we lose something, it becomes then important to us or sacred. And I think what Dan teaches us and what he is so prolific about resonating with is that let's not wait. Let's not wait to show gratitude, despite all the chaos and the confusion and the things that we have to be ungrateful for, or that we might have reason to be angry about. Let's find some. So when Dan talked about getting up at 6:41 in the morning at our ranch, that's called rise and reflect. And that's proactive gratitude, going out as the sun comes up, looking at the sun as it comes over the mountains, and thinking to myself, what am I truly grateful for as you breathe that in, as you taste in that country air, and what is it that we're grateful for? Now, me saying this to all of you is kind of hypocritical because I lost my body before I found out really what it meant to me. And I'm not here to talk about my body or necessarily my circumstance, but my body is 95% numb. And I never did plan on that. Nobody plans on that. And Dan talks about these miracles. Do you realize that at 3 o'clock this morning, 2 people I've never met before helped me get off that airplane, took me out to 27 degrees weather as it was snowing in Salt Lake City, and got me into the van? Is that a miracle? Yes or no?
Yes.
I think it is. And that happens to me every single day of my life. I do travel alone. I'm not saying that to brag to you, but I'm never alone. So as we're surrounded here by this masterclass, I think we need to see the power of relationships and the power of the people that are on this screen. And we should have gratitude for that. And then somehow get to know people, as Dan talked about, stories. Listen to their stories. And what could they have to share with us? It's the nothing but help me live a dream that I dreamt, but I dreamt it in a different pillar. I always wanted to be a guide, an outfitter, a hunting guide. I love the outdoors. I just didn't know that it would look like this on a screen with with a placemat behind me. I had no idea it would be Zoom. I thought that farming was grass and animals and horses and cattle, and on a specific number of acreage on a ground. And I found out that I don't have to be stuck on that acreage to be a farmer. As Dan mentioned, excuse me, my friends. As Dan mentioned, I just got back from Boston, and my tires on my wheelchair have taken me to more ground than my feet would have ever taken me. And I think that's a huge thing to be grateful for. So through tragedy, through challenges, I think we find things to be grateful for, but the key is to not wait for something to be lost before you become grateful for it. So here's how you do that. I'm going to share with you right now. Here's how you do that. When you give something to somebody, Scott, when you tip somebody at a restaurant, when you give a hamburger to a homeless person on the street, I need you to forget that you gave that. Forget it. When you give somebody a blessing, when you pray for somebody, I need you to forget that. You want you to forget that. And when somebody gives you something, never forget that they gave to you.
Wow.
And that's how you become a proactive gratitude person. So you give without remembering. Otherwise, you expect what? Trish, if you're always counting and remembering, hey, I did this for you. Hey, I lent you this money. Hey, I provided a bed for you to sleep in. Hey, I gave you clothes. Hey, you were sick and I gave you medicine. Or hey, I did this service for 10 hours and 24 minutes. If that's the way that we think, what then do we become? We become a person that expects something in return. That's not gratitude. That's called a deal. That's called a trade, right? That's the way the business world works. It shouldn't work that way. And when you change your business mindset to the mindset we're talking about now, business just keeps coming to you because people love to work with people that bring them up and feel like they're giving them more value than they have paid for. They love that. And then when somebody gives something to you, you jot that sucker down in your journal on page 200 of Dan's book and never ever forget it. That way we're always in debt, Brenda. We are always an indebted person. And when you're in debt, it brings to us a sense of humility, a sense of gratitude, a sense of I can do better. I can be better. I want to be better. I need to show more gratitude. People have given. Maybe that's why I'm so grateful to be here with you. People help me. My wife, she helped me this morning because I slept in a little bit. I was tired. She helped me get dressed so that I could be here with all of you. I'm just grateful for that, to start my day. And if you've lost something in your life, if you've lost something, honor the loss by the way that you live your life moving forward. I'm going to say it again. If you've lost a child, God forbid, if you've gone through an illness in your family, maybe it's your spouse that's sick. Maybe you've lost a relationship. Some people would call that divorce. We all lost something during COVID. What was it? What did we lose during COVID? Anybody but Dan. Anybody but Dan. Help me out.
Freedom.
Say it again.
Freedom.
Lost freedom. That's why people jumped at the chance when given back to go to any theater, any restaurant, no matter if it was a Taco Bell or a authentic taco restaurant, because they'd lost it for so long. They would jump at the chance to go to any activity, any bowl game, any football game, any even if it wasn't their thing to do. They just wanted to be with people again, because people are. There's a passage that says that it's the Creator's greatest work and glory to bring to pass our strengths and our capacity and our potential. And I think when we're surrounded by people that are aiming for that, it brings out the best in us. And again, I'm the recipient of that every day of my life as I travel. I bet you I'm helped by at least 30 to 50 people every day. If you think about that, if you think about me going just one trip, getting into the vehicle, there's help. Getting out of the vehicle, there's help at the airport. Getting out of the vehicle at the airport, there's 2 more people. Being checked in, there's 3 people. Going through TSA with the pat down, there's 3 people. Getting to the aircraft, getting onto the aircraft, there's 3 more people. Getting off the aircraft, there's 3 people. Getting from the airport to the Uber or the taxi or the VIP, whatever it is, there's 3 people. Getting to the hotel, the Uber driver as well. Then get to the hotel. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. In just one day, people are absolutely tremendous. And so it's no wonder to me why that is said that people are. If you have children, you know what I'm talking about. You would do anything for your children, even if it cost you your life. I would. Let me take it a step further. Let's take the children out of it. Would you do things for other people that sometimes you won't do for yourself? That make your life about other people. Make your life about serving, giving, loving other people. You can use your work as a platform for that, and you can make a living off of that as well. That's fine. But just remember, when you die, we're going to take the same amount of money with us. Okay. Well, the same amount of money that goes with us. So when we leave this life, what do you leave behind if you're not taking the money with you? And if you just leave money to your family, I don't know, I might call that entitlement a little bit. I'm not against giving money away to your family, but What's a better thing to leave to your family and to your friends and to your colleagues? Those that show up to honor your life,
A
to celebrate your
legacy.
life. What is it?
A legacy.
Thank you, Jeremy. And that's the greatest thing you can leave right there. I can't say it better than you, Jeremy. That's called legacy. Has nothing to do with money. And you know what legacy is, Jeremy? You know how that's defined? People were better because you lived in this life.
Love that.
So we should ask ourselves every day, are the people that I'm grateful for, are they best when I'm around? Are they happy because I'm smiling? Are they better off because they served me? Or are they not? Was I grumpy when they served me? Did I turn them away? Did I say I don't want your help? Or are they better because I involved them in my weakness and glorified their strengths? I think the passage says, I will use your other people's strengths to compensate for your weak. That's the story of my life. Other people's strengths compensate for where I'm weak, which allows me to do things that Dan McCormick mentioned earlier. It's not because I'm special. I know that Dan mentioned some special things, but the truth is, I think the Wall Street Journal has it backwards. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I'm not saying I'm not grateful. That's nice of them to say. Thank you, Wall Street Journal, for saying that. That's nice. Who should be there instead of Chad Hymas? Who allows it all to happen? Robert, Jason, somebody, give me something. Carol, who allows that all to happen? So they give Chad Hymas the credit in the Wall Street Journal. Whose names should be there instead of mine? All the people that helped me do it. And I think God's taking track. I think he's keeping track of that. All the people, all of you that helped me do what I do. So with that said, I thought I would just share. Dan, we have a few minutes?
Yeah, about 5 or 7.
So perfect. So let's see if we can't turn this into perspective. I'm grateful. Thank you for your patience here, guys. And he's special. So special. Dan got to meet him last week. Dan's met him before. In fact, I'll say this. Dan was in Salt Lake City 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago. I get an unexpected text. Hey, are you free tomorrow? The Jazz are planned. Can you bring your family? We'd love to have you. That's the text I received out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And when you have a chance to go mingle with people that Dan McCormick mingles with so that they can make you better, just jump on it, change things around. So I did. And I took that kid with me, who is a little bit on the introverted side, maybe even not comfortable in his own skin. He's the only black kid in his school, the only black kid in our church. A little more quiet. Dan could vouch for this. He saw him at the game. Although when Dan approached him to shake his hand, he comes right up and stands up tall and says, "Hello, Mr. McCormick. Thank you for letting." He's just like that. But other than that, he'll be back in the corner looking at his phone or playing a game, or just a little bit nervous to be proactive around, just not quite sure how to. But when somebody approaches him, he stands right up. It's most impressive. For 9 years, since the umbilical cord was attached to his belly and he was born into life, he started day 1 at an orphanage. Day number 1 on the doorsteps of an orphanage with part of his umbilical cord still attached. That kid right there. My wife just happened to go to Ethiopia on a mission trip and found him at the orphanage with 200 other kids. And he had some challenges with his Dan, you see with his face, with his a cleft palate, double cleft on the left side. That's both teeth sticking out. This tongue goes up through his teeth. And I was in Australia speaking in Perth the West Coast. I got a phone call from my wife. She was in Ethiopia. She said, our family's not done. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I mean, we've got 3 children. We're doing great as far as that goes. I mean, empty nest early. Let's just stay right where we're at. We're good. We're comfortable. No one's ever showed true gratitude unless they get uncomfortable. I'm going to say it again. No one has ever showed true gratitude unless they get uncomfortable. Today, it's happening in the state of Utah, the entire state. The entire state. If you're in Utah, you know exactly what's happening this Saturday, right now. It's Food Bank Day because the price of eggs and things are a little higher. I've never been successful at complaining at the price of eggs. So we just try and find a way to help others, including ourselves. We all work together. Today is Food Bank Day. So we're all getting a little uncomfortable, and we're packing bags that have been set on our doorstep full of food. And then a bunch of people have been assigned our area, going to come pick up food at 9:30 this morning. And semi trucks are gathered all across the state, and they're going to pack in that warehouse at the food bank so that it's overfilled so they can get food to people that can't afford to buy eggs or other kinds of food. That's what's happening today in Utah. The entire state. It is well known and it's been advertised. This kid barely had enough food. Couldn't get it in his mouth. His mouth was infected. Long story short, my wife says we're going to adopt him. She fights to get him adopted, which was a fight. It was awkward. No birth certificate on that kid. We get him back home, get him up to the hospital, 9 surgeries, and they fixed his face. You can see it. Brand new teeth, brand new bone structure, brand new nose palate, brand new jaw, brand new skin grafts. Had to guess his age. Mattis had to guess his age. We guessed 9. I let him pick his own birthday. He picked my birthday. Kind of a bad gig now, but I'm grateful to share birthday with him. And I started to get him involved in basketball. Well, Dan, he was excited to go to the Jazz game, and you saw that, but it's not his gig, and you could see that. He would go sit out front and watch, from the suite that we were in. He'd go sit out there, and he would watch, and then he would go back in. It's not just, but it is ours. It's mine. It's March Madness. I love March Madness, but it's not his. That's because his heroes and the people he looks up to aren't the basketball players on the court. They don't really, it's not that they're bad people. They just don't inspire him. Do you know who inspired him first? The white coats that fixed his face.
Wow.
So this kid studies to be a white coat one day. Is it for the money? Yes or no? What is it, Scott? You're shaking your head.
Just to serve and to be grateful for what he was given.
He's grateful for what was given to him. He hasn't forgotten who gave it to him, and he wants to be like them to go give it back. That's what Dan McCormick's trying to teach us today. That's exactly what he's trying to teach. And I live that every day. That's why he and I get along so good. That's why we're so tight. We understand each other. And I am grateful that he's my son. And I let him know that. I'm so grateful that I'll get to see him this morning. I haven't seen him in about a week. We're going to go up to the lodge together. There's a group there. I'm going to speak to that group. And then we're going to clean the lodge with about 10 other people. I'm excited for today. He's going to help me drop off that food this morning. Shondel's got 3 or 4 bags packed. We're going to take it to the drop-off spot. What a wonderful day as the sun rises right now to show gratitude. I guess I'll end with this. Do you have the ability to be like that kid on the screen? The answer is yes. What separates people? What Dan said. I think, Dan, you're going to have to help me remember this, but it was a quote by Covey where Covey said, you either just read it or you read it and then you go teach it.
Yep. Something
like that. That's what you said to us today. I'm worried people just wrote it down, but they didn't hear it. And it hit me when you said that. That's what this kid does every day. And that's I want to be like that. I really do. I want to be like that. So I hope you remember those thoughts that Dan instilled in us. And I tried to reinforce, hoping that you wouldn't forget. I don't want you to forget we were taught in about 13 minutes of time that Dan McCormick gave to us using some slides. That would be a waste of 13 minutes. There were some powerful lessons taught there that are life changing and life altering if you'll just apply one of them, just one. Dan, thank you for giving me a few minutes this morning. I'm honored by it. I'm honored by our friendship, but I wouldn't even call it a friendship. It's truly a brotherhood, and I honor that. I love it. I'm grateful for it. It means so much to me, and so just want you to know that personally. And I'm grateful for the introduction to your masterclass, and it's been wonderful to spend about 15 minutes with you this morning.
I love you, brother. Thank you so much, and just have a lovely day with your family, and don't forget to get a little bit of rest as you go. That's a big day, and safe travels, and look forward to being back on the ranch with you. And I'll wrap up here. And I just have to say thank you to Chad, and thank you, because when you do a book, you usually have a combination of people that endorse your book, write about your book. They validate who you are. It was apparent to me that when Chad got the manuscript to my book, he read it thoroughly. It was incredible to see what he put into his endorsement to my book. And if you like the feeling of the way Chad teaches, if you like I would say Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the word that I use in my book. And that's what I feel about Chad. I am because of him. And he is because of me. I am because of you. You are because of me. We are all in this together, where I can say I am a child of God, as all of us here can attest. And I hope that before I hang up, I've got a few more slides to close out with. Chad, you're certainly welcome to stay, but I know you've got a full day, and God bless you. And I want people to read some of the comments and think about when Chad was on one of my other shows 9-10 years ago now. Matthias gave us an incredible story about what happened in his family. I'm going to leave these chats up, get a chance to scroll back and take a look at them. But if you also get a chance to go to Amazon today and pick up a copy of Chad's book, because if you want that feeling, the feeling of what Chad brings, and that's why I love having Chad and some of the most, what I would call authentic people, like a Hal Elrod do the forward to the book, or a Dr. Benjamin Hardy in the afterword. But if you want that feeling, you just go to the chapter in Chad's book called The Miracle Rolls On. And I promise you, you'll recreate that feeling at any time. If we had another hour, which we don't, I would ask him to talk about the lessons he learned from his father. Because we could go so deep, we could peel away the onion so the depth of gratitude would be so enhanced. And I think you'll feel that when you get Doing What Must Be Done by Chad Hymas. And so, Chad, God bless you. Wish I could give you a big hug and help you crack that knee if you needed help to pull that knee up. Chad does some unique yoga stretches. We did an incredible, not only the gratitude session, but we had breathing coaches. We had 30-minute breathing sessions. We had we had saunas and cold plunges. He does it right. And I just want to thank him.
Yeah.
And thank all of you.
Would you be object if I give everybody a free copy of it now and a copy of the movie of our story so they can go download it?
I think everybody would be fine. Let's have somebody type in maybe Liz can type in the link.
Let's be real quick. Let's be real quick. Less than 30 seconds.
Go
to Instagram. Go to Instagram if you have it. If you don't, hang tight. I'll give you another way. Go to Instagram if you have it. Search my name, Chad Hymas. It'll come right up at the top. Blogger, influencer. Click follow and message. And then click message, and your password will be, let's just make it easy. Make it McCormick. Password is McCormick. Elisa will see that in my office, and she's going to send you a link, download, and you can have that entire package for free. The book, the movie of our story, you'll see the ranch on there. You'll get it all. So I'm just going to give it to you for free.
Royal Creek Ranches is a place everybody needs to visit. Yeah, I think I got the name right. 28,000 acres.
28. Yep. Good. 28. Yeah.
Woo.
Which is pretty small compared to where my tires have taken me. I'm just saying, let's keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
I used to think it was bigger. I think we think too small sometimes, Dan. I don't want to take your time up, but I want to.
Oh no! Listen,
anyway.
our time is we usually schedule 45 minutes, and that was just right. Everybody feels your love. Everybody has a new level of gratitude to get to by serving other people, loving other people, not judging other people, but truly living the principle of Ubuntu. I am because of you, and you are because of me. It takes a village, doesn't it? That's one of the phrases that we like in life. And I love that picture of Chad and I at the basketball game. I love the picture with his wife. I didn't have time to put up the entire collage, but it is just a fantastic thing to have all of you here today. Now, as I close, this has been our 12th masterclass. We'll go to the next slide if we can. And if you don't have the book yet, if you haven't done a review yet on Amazon, you know I'm always grateful for that. It was incredible to be speaking at Chad's ranch and see how many people bought dozens of coins. It was amazing for people with their real estate teams and handing the coins out to their team. And just know that every day, that's what I wake to. First thoughts, first light, first right. Okay. I am a magnet for miracles, which is on the one side right here. And you all know you can go to Affirm I Am for that. And then the final slide, I believe, is our April masterclass. So the details will be coming, and it's going to be really, really exciting. It's kind of going to be really exciting for some because I want to take more questions. I want to be able to dive a little deeper. And we're going to be having a new format for our masterclass. All of the masterclasses have been posted on YouTube. They're all there, all 12 of them. And those are going to be coming down because what we're doing is we're changing the entire structure of the masterclass. I will be writing a newsletter so that you can fully appreciate all of the things, and it is a physical newsletter. We live in a world where we click on an email, we delete the email, we never think about the email. And so I have an entirely new system on how my book will be sold, how the master classes will go. And this physical newsletter will be Federal Express to you every month. And it'll be specifically about all of the things that we've talked about. How do we go deeper? And then we'll have the master class for those that are subscribers to the newsletter. There will be a small fee. And of course, you know that it costs money for me to run my business. And so I have to have some things that are financially remunerating. And so you'll be able to take those newsletters. And what I love about my newsletters in my file here is they're right there for me. There's my notes, there's my ideas, and I want to live with the ideas. I want to be able to take the personal development aspect of energy, frequency, I am affirmations, gratitude, all of these things. I want to be able to stack those things. I want to be able to share with you. I spend $10,000 to $20,000 a year just on researching companies that are the fastest growing companies in the world to invest in. So I'll have an investor's corner piece. I'll talk about money. My friend Darcia is on the show here today. Darcia has the ability to measure our frequency as a group. Part of that paid subscription to the masterclass will be frequency measurement for you. Where are you on your frequency journey of releasing so that you can become all of the things that you're aspiring to do, to serve, to love, to build businesses, to add commas to your commission check, add commas to your revenue run, regardless of whether you're real estate, you're a homemaker, you're a business person, whatever it is, all of these things will be all stacked into the masterclass. So you'll look for the email probably in the next 2 weeks for the details on how to become a subscriber to a physical email. Then when we get to the masterclass, it'll be time with Q&A. How do I do that? Chad asked some very probing questions today. Stephen Covey gave us that great nugget, right? Don't just take ideas down. Where can you now serve somebody else in your family, your team, somebody you love? Where can you turn to them and say, hey, can I just share with you what I learned today? Can I share with you an individual that I met today that I spent 30 minutes with? A man from his wheelchair talked to us about how his life is. So all of these things will be coming forward. And I just hope that you've appreciated and really felt some of these thoughts that are in chat here today. I really wanted to even go deeper and get your feedback on what you felt when you wrote down gratitude, what you were grateful for. Of course, we didn't have time for that here today, but we're going to have time for that in the future on the subscription-based model with the newsletter, the Dan McCormick report, and all of the things that'll come with it. And again, I love Neville Goddard. He does so much for so many all those years ago. And when he said, the feeling is the secret, I know today that everybody felt this message and can take it and share it in the next 48 hours. Continue to write your thoughts. Continue to expand on your thoughts. and then share and get it out there so that as you teach it to some others, you feel it at a new level. You taste it, you smell it, and then you can, certainly the 7th level is to share. So God bless everybody. Thank you for being with us on our 12th masterclass. I mean, this is now what, about 7.5, maybe 9 hours of material, videos and guests and people that have experienced affirmations in all these different ways. I just want to say I love you all. I hope you'll continue to share the journey with me. And I look forward to all of our friendships growing. I'm going to leave the Zoom class on for about another 2 or 3 minutes. If for those that want to say thanks to Chad, I think he may have stepped out, but that's fine. If you want to say thank you to all of the people in the chat, the comments, if you want to take pictures of some of the things there, I just want to say thank you very much. God bless you. Feel free to take it off mute. A lot of thumbs up and high fives for Chad coming on today. The feeling is the secret. And the feeling is I love all of you and I pray for you and I hope you have a beautiful day. And thank you so very much. And we'll look forward to being back with you in April. Bye for now.